My girlfriend used my greatest fear against me and sent me into a full-fledged panic attack as a lesson. Now she's spiraling because I am teaching her about breaking up. She turned on a movie, and we sat together and watched it for a while. I drifted asleep and was soon awoken by her in a full clown Halloween costume. This was one of the most terrifying and frightening experiences I may have ever had. Falling asleep with someone I'm completely vulnerable and have a lot of trust for to be awoken by my true worst fear sent me to a full-fledged panic attack. I couldn't breathe in my own home, nonetheless, and was paralyzed by fear. She not only targeted my weakness but continued tormenting me while I hyperventilated, and I was soon in tears, curled up on the floor, struggling to breathe. After what felt like years, truthfully 5 minutes, she took off the costume, trying to comfort me and bringing me an inhaler, but started saying that was how I made her feel after speaking about her not having a job. I really love her. We felt like such a perfect match, but to attack me so personally and without communication of the underlying issue prior, I have truly lost all trust for her. I told her to leave me the F alone and get out of my house. Obviously, this went over poorly, but I have never felt so betrayed by someone I loved before. She hasn't spoken to me for the 2 weeks since despite my efforts, and I'm truly exhausted in trying. Update: I spoke with one of her friends who dates a good buddy of mine, and she spilled a lot of tea on the situation. Of course, underlying issues I contributed to led to this, but it was intended as a prank. I did have the chance to speak with her, but it certainly didn't end up the way I envisioned it. She planned this out, bought a cheap costume, and intended to prank me as, and I quote, a lesson. Her lesson brought up a lot of childhood trauma for me, and I don't have much of a support system for those things. I broke up with her once I heard her side, and she became very frustrated. She cursed at me and swore no one would love such a crappy person. The irony of the situation only made me laugh, and I realized maybe she could find a job in her newly found free time. In the past few days, I've decided to seek counseling and therapy for a lot of the trust issues, and ultimately, I hope to work on my fear.